Welcome back, everyone! Sometimes life just throws curveballs at you, right? Those moments where you feel like you're standing before something absolutely massive, something that just dwarfs you, something gigantic.
Absolutely, Denise.
I think we've all been there.
Whether it's a looming deadline at work, a really tough conversation you need to have, or even just a challenging personal goal. It feels like this huge, insurmountable thing. Like a giant, really.
Exactly! And that brings us perfectly to our topic for today. We're diving into one of the most iconic stories, not just in the Bible, but in human history, David and Goliath. It's a story about facing a giant, but it's so much more than just a literal battle.
Oh, I love this story. It's such a powerful reminder that size truly doesn't matter when you have faith.
I mean, here you have Goliath, this massive warrior, armored head to toe, intimidating everyone, and then there's David, just a young shepherd boy, right? And what always strikes me is David's attitude. The Bible, specifically in 1 Samuel 17, tells us something really profound about him. David wasn't afraid of the giant because he trusted God. It wasn't about his own strength or skill, though he had those. It was about his unwavering faith.
That's huge. Because let's be honest, if I were in David's shoes looking at Goliath, I'd be absolutely terrified. My knees would be knocking, my heart would be pounding out of my chest. Most people were, right? The whole Israelite army was paralyzed with fear.
They really were. But David, he had this incredible peace and courage, and it says God gave him that. It's not something he conjured up himself. It was a gift from his trust in a higher power. That's such a game changer for how we approach our own giants.
So, how do we translate that? How do we get that peace and courage when we're facing our own Goliaths? Because sometimes it feels like it's just me against the world, you know?
That's a fantastic question, and it really gets to the heart of it. For David, his confidence didn't come from his military training. He had none really. It came from knowing who was with him. He'd faced lions and bears protecting his flock, and he knew it wasn't his arm that delivered him, but God's.
So, it's about shifting our focus from the size of the problem to the size of our helper, essentially. Instead of looking at the giant and feeling small, we look to God and realize we're part of something much bigger and stronger.
Exactly! And this is where our verse for the day comes in. The Lord is my strength. It's not the Lord gives me strength, which is also true, but the Lord is my strength. It's an identity, a fundamental truth. His very being becomes our power source.
That's a subtle but powerful difference. It's not just an external aid, it's an internal reality. Like when you're connected to the source of all power, you inherently become strong. It's not something you have to go out and acquire. It's already there within you through that connection.
Precisely. Think about it. When we face something intimidating, our natural reaction is often anxiety, doubt, fear. But if we genuinely believe that the Lord is our strength, it changes everything. It reframes the challenge from a potential defeat into an opportunity to see God work.
I can see that. So, let's say I have a giant in front of me today. Maybe it's a really intimidating presentation I have to give. How do I tap into that "the Lord is my strength" idea in a practical way? How does it actually give me peace and courage in that moment?
It starts with a conscious choice, doesn't it? A choice to acknowledge the fear, but then to intentionally pivot and say, okay, I feel this, but I'm going to lean into what I know to be true. And that's where prayer comes in. Our prayer for today is so simple yet profound. Help me be brave and peaceful, God.
Asking for it directly. Sometimes we forget that. We try to white-knuckle our way through or muster up courage from within ourselves, which, let's be honest, often falls short.
Totally. And it's not about denying the difficulty or pretending the giant isn't scary. It's about acknowledging it and then inviting God into that space, asking Him to infuse you with His peace and His courage. It's a surrender, really, but a powerful one.
So, it's like saying, okay, God, this is bigger than me, but it's not bigger than you. And since you are with me, and you are my strength, I can face this. It's a transfer of burden almost.
Exactly. And then we move to action, right? Because faith without works is dead, as they say. Our action for today has two parts. First, stand tall like David. What does that conjure up for you?
Oh, stand tall like David. For me, it's about embodying that inner confidence. It's not about arrogance, but a quiet, self-assured stance. Like literally, good posture helps. But metaphorically, it's about not slouching under the weight of fear or intimidation. It's saying, I am here and I am ready.
I love that. It's about not letting the situation shrink you. David wasn't physically taller than Goliath, but spiritually and mentally he stood head and shoulders above him. His posture reflected his inner conviction. And then, the second part of the action, hand over your heart, God is with me.
Oh, that's such a comforting, grounding gesture. Hand over your heart. It's a very personal, intimate action, isn't it? It's like you're tapping into your core, reminding yourself of that deepest truth. It's not just a mental affirmation, it's a physical embodiment of it.
Right, it's a reminder to your entire being, to your physical self, that you are not alone. That divine presence is not just out there, but in you. It's a moment to literally feel that truth resonate within your chest. God is with me. What a powerful, simple statement.
I can imagine doing that before a challenging meeting or when you're about to have a difficult conversation. Just taking that moment, standing tall, hand over heart, God is with me. It's like a mini reset button, grounding you in that strength and peace we've been talking about.
Exactly. And it leads us perfectly into our affirmation for the day, which really ties everything together. I have peace because God makes me brave. It's not I am brave, therefore I have peace, or I have peace because I'm not afraid. No, it's a causality.
Ah, that's so important to unpack. I have peace because God makes me brave. It puts the agency squarely with God. It acknowledges that courage isn't always something we generate, but something we receive. And peace is the result of that divine bravery.
It flips the script, doesn't it? When we feel overwhelmed, we often think, if only I could be brave, then I'd be peaceful. But this affirmation says no. Let God make you brave, and peace will naturally follow. It's a completely different pathway to serenity.
That's so liberating, honestly. Because sometimes trying to feel brave is exhausting. You can try to pump yourself up all you want, but if the fear is deeply rooted, it's hard to shake. But if you're saying, God, you make me brave, it takes the pressure off.
It truly does. Let's think about some real-world giants we might face. Maybe it's not a literal giant like Goliath, but it could be a health diagnosis that feels overwhelming, or a financial struggle that seems insurmountable, or even just a deep-seated insecurity that holds you back.
Oh, absolutely. I remember a time when I was facing a huge career change. It felt like I was stepping into the unknown, leaving behind everything comfortable. The fear was a giant, honestly. Every morning I woke up with that knot in my stomach.
What did you do in that moment? Did you feel like you had that peace, or were you fighting for it?
Initially, I was fighting for it. I was trying to logically convince myself it would be okay. But that only got me so far. It wasn't until I truly leaned into that idea that the Lord is my strength, that I didn't have to generate all the courage myself, that things shifted. I started praying, help me be brave and peaceful, God, every morning. And it really did make a difference.
And how did that manifest? What did that peace and courage look like in action?
Well, it didn't mean the fear vanished completely, but it quieted down. Instead of feeling paralyzed, I felt a calm resolve. I started taking small, brave steps, networking, updating my resume, reaching out for advice. And when I felt overwhelmed, I'd literally stand tall, hand over my heart, and say, God is with me. It helped me stay grounded and focused, rather than spiraling into anxiety.
That's such a beautiful illustration of how these principles aren't just abstract ideas, but practical tools for navigating life's challenges. It's about cultivating an internal posture of trust, regardless of external circumstances.
And it reminds me that even David, who faced a literal giant, wasn't just some superhero. He was a young man who had a deep personal relationship with God. He wasn't relying on his own might, but on the God who had always protected him.
Exactly. And often our greatest challenges aren't the external giants, but the internal ones. The doubts, the fears, the insecurities that tell us we're not enough, or that we can't overcome something. Those are the ones that can truly paralyze us.
Oh, the mental giants. They are often the toughest. The voice that says you'll fail, or what's the point? Those can be more debilitating than any physical challenge.
So, how do we use these tools against those internal giants? The Lord is my strength affirmation feels particularly potent there because it directly counters the voice of weakness and doubt.
Absolutely. When that voice of doubt creeps in, you have to actively combat it with truth. Saying the Lord is my strength isn't just a nice phrase, it's a declaration. It's like pulling out your own spiritual sling and stones against those negative thoughts. You're reminding yourself of who you belong to and what resources are available to you.
And that action, hand over your heart, God is with me. It's a very personal way to internalize that truth, to feel it, not just think it. It grounds you in that moment. It's almost like a self-hug of reassurance.
I love that image, a self-hug of reassurance. And the stand tall like David part, even when you're battling an internal giant, it's about not letting yourself be crumpled by it. It's maintaining that inner dignity and conviction, even if no one else sees it.
It's so true. It's a visible declaration to yourself and perhaps to the spiritual realm that you are not backing down. You are standing firm, rooted in your faith. And when you do that, the peace really does come. The affirmation, I have peace because God makes me brave, becomes a lived reality.
It's like peace isn't the absence of trouble, but the presence of God in the midst of it. It's not that the giant disappears, but your perspective on the giant changes. You see it through God's eyes, and suddenly, it's not so overwhelming anymore.
What a beautiful way to put it. That's such a powerful distinction. Peace isn't the absence of a giant, but the presence of God. And with his presence comes his strength, his courage, his unwavering support.
So, for anyone listening today, facing whatever giant is in front of them, big or small, physical or internal, I hope you remember David's story. Remember that his strength wasn't his own.
And remember our verse, the Lord is my strength. Say it aloud, let it resonate within you. Let that truth anchor you.
And our prayer, help me be brave and peaceful, God. It's a simple request, but it opens the door for divine intervention in your heart and mind.
Then, take action. Stand tall like David. Literally, right now, wherever you are, lift your shoulders, pull them back, breathe deep. And then, place your hand over your heart and say with conviction, God is with me.
And finally, internalize that powerful affirmation. I have peace because God makes me brave. Let that be your truth for today and for every giant you encounter this week.
It's a journey, not a destination. These are daily practices, daily choices to lean into God's strength. And honestly, it transforms how you walk through life. It really does.
It gives you a quiet confidence that's unshakable, because it's not based on your own shifting emotions or circumstances, but on something much more solid.
Absolutely. So go forth today, knowing that whatever giant looms, you don't face it alone. You have the ultimate strength and peace available to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you. Keep standing tall, keep trusting, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye for now.
See ya.